What is up, everybody? It's me, Duke Farley, back at it again here on Lost at Sea. And this morning, I am joined by none other than Dustyn from Live Reality Games. Dustyn, what is up? Good to talk to you. How have you been? What's going on, man?
Good. That is a loaded question because there's so much going on, I think. So personally, I just wrapped up Adventure Kokopelli. Had 20 people survive 5 days out in the woods. We raised over $2,000 for a great charity. So that was super exciting. Getting back home here, I got offered a spot to help with next year's production of Big Brother Hogwarts, which applications are out right now. So casting will soon happen after that. So that's super exciting. I've never worked on something that I haven't actually produced myself between Kirk and me and the Adventure Gaming Group. So this is going to be different and I'm excited to learn. And then Kirk and I just decided kind of on a whim. We've always had this dream in our minds to open our escape room. So we put an offer on a lease. We should hear back on Tuesday whether that's going to go through or not. So like I said, loaded question with me, lots going on. But I'm ready to talk about Ascendance. I was able to get caught up with the show. Season 2 is really great. I followed along with season 1 and then season 2. I think Nicole and team really stepped up, and I have a lot of great things to talk about here on this last hour and a half episode that I signed up for. So
Yes, long episode, a double elimination episode. But before we get into this episode, I wanted to ask you, Dustyn, who are your favorites? Who have been your favorites so far this season?
So I did do a draft. Peyton gathered myself, Kirk, and 2 other players from the Ascendance world. We did a draft. I got to pick my draft around live game production people. So I had Wes, I had Thomas, and I had Carson on my draft list. You know, being on the production side, I always think it gives you a leg up in these kind of games. And then we'll get to that at the end of this. But I was doing pretty good. Thomas, at the start of the episode, still here, rocking, representing my team. I'm excited to see Hot Girl Chris step up some things. I do think Chris was playing like a quieter game at first, just kind of there for the fun. And then I think there's some fire that got built up and Chris is ready to go. I'm concerned mostly with Erica. I don't know, especially going into this episode where Erica is going to get to the end. Kennedy's really impressed me, being a challenge beast. Jodely has some really interesting gameplay going on. Taishia, or is it Taishia? No, Taisha. Thank you. Taisha, I know that she won the online game of iSurvivor recently. And so going in, I really thought she was going to be the winner pick to go for. And I could be right here. I think Taisha is playing a phenomenal game right now. And everyone's doing really good. I don't see what Drew is doing though. Anyway, I have a lot to talk about, I guess. So I just keep going on. So sorry.
Yeah, no, that's a great analysis of kind of what's been happening. This episode, we start off right with the old, I believe it's from Survivor, kind of hold your arm up on the with a bucket of ping pong balls.
Mm-hmm.
And
waterfall, and there's
waterfall.
No water involved.
No water, just the ping pong balls there. But Kennedy, like you mentioned earlier, competition beast here, beasts it out. And the little wrinkle of co-captain. So she kind of makes a little deal there with Drew, before they drop, I'll co-captain you if you co-captain me, that kind of thing. Let's talk about Kennedy here. What we mentioned, competition beast. Do you see a road where Kennedy can make it to the end without does she have to win out basically, do you think?
Getting to where we are, and not trying to skip forward at all. At this point, no, I think She has lost too many allies recently. She's been on the outs of the votes. Her name is up there. If she doesn't win, she's probably next to go, just based on that. Yeah, I don't see this alliance that we see working in the background breaking up at any time. I think they are tight. They've been tested, especially this last episode, on how the votes are going to go. Their cards are on the table, and it's just going to see who wins or what powers can be found at this point.
Which that's going to be a very big, what's going on with the pendant of powers. Later on,
Dependents, because we have two of them at least right now.
Pendants. Interesting. I talked to Thomas last night. He is the one who ultimately gets eliminated from this vote here. He regrets dropping from the challenge. He kind of mentions it in one of his confessionals, like he doesn't want to be perceived as a competition beast, and he goes ahead and throws that. Thought he could definitely outlast Kennedy, and ultimately that probably was his best bet because he is eliminated here. What do you think about this?
About throwing challenges? That's a terrible idea in any sense. Like, you're giving away a chance for you to be safe, and especially in Ascendance, you get to pick a co-captain. You get to build a great bond, help somebody out. Like, why at this point just throw? Like, you're throwing away your game essentially.
Yeah, and the numbers are definitely, at that point, final 8, I believe. So it's tight. You can't really, no room to hide there. But he is a part of this dominant alliance that has been kind of, I guess, slowly running things throughout the course of the game. The core 4 is what they call it. And ultimately, Taisha goes a different way, goes with her Black Girl Magic group with Jodie and Hot Girl Chris, and kind of turns on Thomas. What do you think, Taisha? What do you think about Taisha's pivot here?
She had to pick a side at some point. Being in a final 4 compared to a final 3, you're always supposed to go and keep the strength in your final 3. So it totally makes sense. I think, like I said earlier, like the cards are on the table now, and that's just how this is gonna get split here, with Erica kind of in between. But in general, I think Taisha made this stronger, I guess, because they've definitely have gone to bat for each other. I think we see that alliance like supporting each other more than the other alliance of the core 4. I think core 4 was always there as Taisha's like backup in case something happened. So
yeah, it's interesting. Taisha really was in the driver's seat for this vote, and she goes with the final 3 deal that she has. Thomas thought he played a great game. You mentioned having drafted him. I also had drafted him in my one draft this season. So sad to see Thomas leave here. Definitely a big strategist of the season. Any final thoughts on Thomas's game?
No, but shout out to production. Like, I don't know how they crafted that on their little vacation rental that they got. They must have put something together or like found some old swing set or something. I have no idea, but that was a great challenge to watch. And especially going in to like this later part, the challenges and the camera work. I don't know what it was about this episode, stepped up. Like, shout out to the camera people and the editing. So
yes, definitely a fun challenge to watch. One of the great challenges of Survivor, kind of brought into this Ascendance realm. And now we have a big brother classic, the kind of OTEV, Ascendance OTEV, basically. Go find the ping pong balls and retrieve them, and last one who doesn't have it basically is out. Seems like a lot of people got the questions wrong in general. So what did you think of the challenge overall, and then hiding the pendant of power in this floaty pool thing?
Lots of things. I think people didn't study. They took the night off not to talk about games. So in my mind, I was thinking, okay, if they took the night off, they're probably going to be staying up late, celebrating something, maybe extra drink or two. And I don't think anybody's thinking with a clear mind in this first opening challenge with the running and everything. I think everyone probably had a very late night, which I think could lead to them messing up and not, studying and taking the time to remember what happened. But also all the questions, not all the questions, but some of the questions more geared towards like the earlier part. So if you weren't in that elimination ceremony, maybe that one person didn't stick in your mind. But it looks like in general, I don't know how the game's set up, but it looks like everybody voted out can just watch everything that goes on, or even if your team's not up for elimination. So I think it was totally fair. And I think somebody should have brought a pen and paper to the party. So
Yeah, and also listening to the question, I mean, Jodely, the first round does not bring back 2 ping pong balls, only goes with the 1 there. So that's pretty easy boot here. But pen and a power in the middle of the play pool. We're
great.
surprised.
It's out and open, like whoever's gonna run it and get it. I'm surprised that it lasted so long. A few of them, like I like the camera work and how it zooms in, so it shows the viewers here like where it is and who's close to it. And I think grabbing it out in the open, that's really great. Really puts a target, but at the same time, that target really didn't pay off in any sense.
Yeah, and now there's 2 penitent powers in Drew's possession. One's public, one's not public. So really, Drew kind of pretty safe for the next couple rounds, it seems like.
Yeah, but he's gonna have to because you can play a pendant to save someone. So I was surprised that he did want to risk, at the end of this episode, which we're getting to here. But when Zoe left, I was surprised that he didn't throw her one of those pendants of power. Like he's losing numbers. Like the last 3 rounds, I think Drew talks about like, oh, I lost this person, like what's going wrong. He had 2 of them. Why didn't he? He knew the vote was going to be close. He could have guaranteed a safe move and got himself another person on his side, I guess.
Right. I guess it's just like the balancing act. He probably wants to keep both of them to himself to survive this vote. I think you can only play Pendant of Power up till final 5. So he's at final 6 after this. So he's pretty much safe the next 2 rounds, it seems like.
So he better best bet to, win that final 4 challenge. So
right.
Allies in the end, that's what you got to do.
But it's interesting you mentioned like potentially saving Zoe. Do you think he was just naive to the fact that they were going to vote Zoe out, or do you think that it was more so a self like keep him for himself anyway?
Well, looking at the votes, like he was off on the last vote as well. So like, fool me once, shame on me. Like fool me twice. Like he should learn at least going into this one. But he's just gonna play it to keep himself safe, most likely, instead of, I don't know. Going into this next episode, I really hope that he does play it on one of his allies, because he's like I said, losing people left and right. So
yeah, definitely. He now 2 of the main people in his core 4 alliance are gone. Taisha seems to have gone to greener pastures with her new alliance. Well, I mean, stronger alliance. And we see Zoe leave here. I guess the main pitch throughout the episode was trying to pin Taisha's, like, basically they were saying Taisha is telling Hot Girl Chris that she didn't know about the plan to vote him out the previous round, but she really did. So we should vote her out. Do you think that's even a valid argument? It seems like Hot Girl Chris was not a part of that.
Yeah, no, it sounds like a valid argument, especially if they had something between them, because always in this game, there is an agreement. Oh, Duke, I heard your name come up. Like there's that, I'll tell you. Like if they had that agreement and it comes to find out that Taisha knew that Hot Girl Chris's name was coming up and she didn't tell him, like that That is the thing there. Like, if she didn't stick to the promise that she made with him and she's getting caught in it now, I don't know why they weren't, because she knew about it. She knew that the vote was going that way. I don't know how they could have made it more notable that she did know, but
Yeah, it seemed like
she's great at bluffing, I guess.
but it seems like they really pitched that hard hot girl Chris right at the end, and he just was not really that receptive to that. Kind of just took that information and still went with the side of Taisha. So seems like maybe there was nothing that they could do. Yeah, which sucks. Zoe, another great player, headed to the
she
jury
got voted
house.
all-star, so congrats to her.
Voted for bring back for all-star, so we might see Zoe in another season. We never know. So now we're at the final six. We have a couple competition beasts with Kennedy, Drew with the 2 pendants. What do you think is in store next? Like, who do you think is in the driver's seat to win this game?
As long as there's no more running challenges, I don't know. So
seems to be a lot.
Yeah. Driver's seat. Well, Drew and Kennedy are kind of on the outs now. We all know that Drew has the 2 pendants to save for this round, for the next round. And then Erica is kind of an expendable person at this moment for the Black Girl Magic group. Like they said, they wanted to bring her along just to do the 4. So in case Drew and Kennedy do save themselves, are they co-captains still at 6? Or is that one gone?
I believe it's going to be stopped at 6. So I think final 6, I think you give a co-captain, and then after that, no more co-captains.
Yeah. So Kennedy is safe. Drew is safe, but it does not reveal. So the votes are probably going to go to Drew. Drew will pay the pendant because he has to, but they all know that he has a pendant. So I think in this case, Erica is just going to be out of luck at this point. So
do you see a way where Drew uses 2 pendants in one round? Kind of shake some stuff up.
That would be something. That would be exciting. It depends on who's safe and whatnot. So that could be a way that he would take back the number game in that aspect.
Because really, you think about it, like the Black Girl Magic Alliance plus Erica, 4 people at the final 6, and then there's 2, the 2 outsiders. So they theoretically could just split the votes there if they wanted to.
They could. So,
but we'll see.
We shall.
Dustyn, anything else regarding Ascendance Live that you want to talk about that we haven't covered up to this point?
No, that was pretty much my notes. Whatever the camera work this last episode came with was the best I've seen so far in season 2. Especially if there is one blonde camera person. I think she's running in for some shots and you see her get into position. And I was like, yes, whoever you are, shout out to production member, blonde person. So nice job.
Shout out to blonde camera woman. You did that. Dustyn, anything that you want to plug at the end of this episode for people to check out? I know you mentioned Big Brother Hogwarts. I will be talking to Bill next week on the podcast.
Oh, that's exciting.
Exciting to have him on. You mentioned applications, I think, right?
Yes, those are opened up. And then our early interest applications will open up soon for Kokopelli. For next season, Ghost Island, we did a little recap video. So if you haven't watched that yet, it kind of shows some challenges, kind of the votes and kind of the whole thing that all the people went through, and the fun times, not so fun times. The rain is hard to deal with when you're not in a house like Ascendance. So
the elements. Did Ghost Island have like the advantages from the past?
So we just finished Legends. Ghost Island is the one that we hinted at the end. At the finale will be next season. Ghost Island.
Shit. Are there gonna be advantages from the past, like actual Ghost Island? You never know. Go check it out.
Yep.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Dustyn, for joining me on Lost at Sea. You guys can check out the exit interviews of Thomas and Zoe on the channel. I'll link that below. And here's to the final six. We'll see what happens. Hopefully it's a fun end game here.
My draft's out, so best of luck to everyone.